Yeah,
Oh,
a lot of.
Speaking of shooting, Bethesda.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like
yeah.
shooting across to the Bethesda stage, or like make a good joke about it.
Oh, I was making a really unfair. Uh, start that sentence again. I was
Yeah,
making a really incomplete link to the fact that Bethesda's um, presentation kicked off with Quake, but
Yeah.
nobody will get that. And you're right, I could have done so much more with that. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Cut it out. Fix it in post.
oh
No, guys, I'll do it on the night. It's fine.
Do it on the night.
no! Now he's the teacher.
Honk!
I liked it that it cut to Robin for some reason, just going, just
I have close to no experience with Quake, but they sure made a video
yeah.
of not gameplay.
I've
But
not.
I think people are excited to hear about Quake because after the success of Doom, everybody was like, "Hey, sure would be nice to see Quake again." So that's cool.
Mark my words. Maybe not next E3, but within the next couple of years, Time Splitters 4.
I'd love to see it.
It's happening. The resurgence of your Dooms, your Quakes. They'll bring back a new Unreal tournaments. Things Team Fortress and now Overwatch have been championing for a while, but just fun, quirky, in a sense retro, but mostly because of the arcadey sense of you just run and gun. Let's not mess around with huge, big Space Marine cutscenes. Let's just get into the core of what all these games are, and that's quality shooting and quality multiplayer. So I was happy with Quake, and then the further extension of Doom and Bethesda, because there's a real industry spotlight on it in the minute, and that can only be a good thing for Time Splitters, whoever owns the IP. I don't know who it is.
I think it was Free Radical. I don't know who has it now.
Speaking of relaunching titles, Prey.
That's a much better segue. Yeah,
that was interesting. I thought that game looked cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about what it used to be. It's kind of like space thrillery. Apparently, there is some Portal stuff that happens, but that gameplay trailer had just enough of not gameplay. That cinematic trailer had just enough kind of intrigue in it to make you go, "Sure, I want to keep an eye on this."
Well, it's a great way to come back. One of those, being one of those games that was kind of stuck in development for years to the point that people had kind of forgotten about it or thought it had just been canned. To come back with something like that that's super like sci-fi mystery, intriguing stuff was very strong.
Because is the
looks
guy
really interesting?
Is the theme I vaguely remember from it before was sci-fi meets Native American? Is that the same again now? Was the guy Red Indian?
I don't think so. It seems very like I don't know. I don't know enough about it. It seems hard to say. It was just weird. There's some weird stuff going on, and I like that.
I liked the bit where the weird, shadowy spider monster scuttled across the screen, then turned into a chair. It reminded me of the polymorph episodes of Red Dwarf, but not in a comedy way, in a deeply terrifying way.
What do you guys make of Fallout 4 DLC? Are you guys still on board with that? Jamie, you dove into Fallout when it came out?
I did dive into Fallout. I enjoyed many a good hour. I don't think, and this is just a general thing for me. I never really ever seem to pick up DLC. I have a real. There's so many different types of games and genres that I like. That generally, especially with big open world games like that, I kind of reach a point where I just have to go. I need to stop doing side missions. I need to finish the main quest for my own peace of mind. And then I'm moving on to a completely different game now. I'm going to move on to this indie title, this shooter, or this
I
first-person
totally
narrative. So I've never, in any game, short of ones where it's been given to me for free, never really done DLC. Up until now, I've been very impressed with all the stuff I have seen for the Fallout 4 stuff. And if that was my favorite game ever and the only thing I ever played, absolutely. I'll be interested, but it's not quite on my radar.
Fair enough.
I thought it looked dumb.
Yeah.
I thought, why are you advertising a whole DLC pack about making contraptions? Granted, I've not played any of Fallout 4.
It's trying to be way more Minecraft than the other ones used to be, because it's all about building your own settlements, and to be able to do that, you need to gather the materials, and you need to connect all the electricity and make sure that works with it. It's got this real kind of like building sim thing now, and you can, in Fallout 4 particularly, you can spend so much more time building up and modding out your settlement than actually just exploring the wastelands, shooting things, and actually leveling up an RPG that way.
Well, for me, as a bit of an outsider to Fallout in general, and for as someone who for whom the actual RPG stuff, the sort of adventuring and shooting and all of that element of sort of character building has always fallen a bit short, I think it seems like a good natural progression for the series to focus more on the stuff you can develop and build as part of your base, and crazy I guess people will go as crazy as they want to with it, but in terms of like that setting, having more stuff, more of an emphasis on creating a base and finding like creative ways to defend it, that seems like a good natural progression of that style of game to me. But I'm not like I don't really play Fallout, so
I think maybe I'm harsh in saying it's dumb. It's not for me. I'm not their target audience. To me it seems like a waste of time. But
welcome to video games.
But not like a creative waste of time. Like the fact that the trailer itself was just people making whatever they're called machines, like breakfast machines with bowling balls rolling down. They go, well, what I think of when I think of Fallout is I think of post-apocalyptic wastelands. I think of exploring the deserts and killing mutants. I don't think, you know what I want to do? I want to make a ball roll in a spiral. Like, if I want a creative game, I'll go to a creative game. If I want a shooty, survivally RPG game, I'll go to Fallout. Just the two don't seem to mesh to me. I can see where you're coming from, but just it doesn't do it for me. I'm not that person though.
Well, speaking of waste of time, Skyrim Special Edition.
We're definitely have a segue topping competition here. I'm liking this. I'm liking where this is going.
Are you guys excited for that?
No.
Potentially.
Do you think is it something you'll consider picking up, even if you're not like super hyped for it? Is what I'm asking.
I wouldn't pick it up. I've played Skyrim. It looks lovely. Like I can't fault them on that. It looks great, but do I want to spend 40 quid, 50 quid on Skyrim again? And when all they've really done is retexture it, and then like the modding thing could be fun, because playing on a PlayStation, I've not been a part of the modding community, but it's still Skyrim again.
I think they've added just enough to it to make it compelling for people to rebuy, basically. And it's the kind of thing I might consider, but it's not super. It's not. I mean, you guys know my feelings about Skyrim anyway. I'm not massively on board. I never was, but I think adding the modding stuff makes it that little bit more interesting. And they've done, I think, just enough graphically to make it maybe worth revisiting. So it's a kind of a okay.
Price tag's the thing.
Yes.
Like McGraw said, it's if I had to, essentially the same thing, but with DLC, mods, and much nicer looking game. Then it's about whether you've played it enough already, or if, like me, I'm very on the fence because just before Dark Souls 3 or something, I was considering doing another playthrough of Skyrim as a completely different build kind of thing, because I wanted to get immersed again in a character and a play style which only very few games, such as in that kind of RPG fantasy setting, which like Dark Souls, Skyrim, and one or two others have been able to do. So it's excited, but there's going to be so many other things again. I've played it once. I sunk 80 odd hours into it, which isn't necessarily that much compared to a lot of other people in 100 plus. But do I have the time to do that again, or am I going to be playing other newer things which are probably going to be more exciting and try to recreate that experience elsewhere?
I think you're totally right about the price point being the thing that makes the difference there. I'm sure that'll make a huge difference to most people. If it's half the price of a new release of most like current gen things, then it'll likely do a lot, I would think. Dishonored 2. This is the one that I'm the one thing I'm really on board for from Bethesda. I really liked Dishonored, and I think this is looking really good.
I thought it looked very cool. I only ever played a little bit of Dishonored because it was a PS Plus game when I was playing it on the PS3, and I think I started playing Dark Souls, and the rest we say is history. But it looked nice. I liked the idea of having two protagonists and having multiple ways through each level. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, very, very excited. I enjoyed the first one. In terms of did enough for my love of kind of combining BioShock with other kind of stealth games, really interesting worlds, all the branching path kind of ways to kind of play it. And basically, I think they've just hit the nail on the head with everything they've shown so far in terms of character, story.
Yeah, they're definitely saying all the right things for me.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for it to trip up as I know the games will. I just keep giving me stuff and let's release it and let's play it.
Cool. Well,
that would be my pick for Bethesda. That would be Jamie's Bethesda. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, same here. Absolutely.
Didn't have one for EA, but definitely Bethesda. They've nailed that.
The only other thing for Bethesda was Doom DLC, but none of us have played Doom yet, so we'll just strike that off the record.